The flight was smooth until she suddenly collapsed in her seat, her body trembling as she whispered a name no one around her recognized. To the passengers, it was just another medical emergency. But to those who knew her, it was the latest chapter in a long, heartbreaking battle that had shadowed her brilliance for decades. The woman being carried off the plane was Vivien Leigh, the radiant star who had conquered Hollywood with her beauty, her intensity, and her haunting fragility. To the world, she was Scarlett O'Hara, the immortal heroine of Gone with the Wind. But behind the camera's glow, her life was far more turbulent than any role she ever played. Her story began far from the glamour of Hollywood. In the colonial calm of Darjeeling, India, in 1913. Born Vivian Mary Hartley to British parents, she spent her early years surrounded by the scent of tea plantations and the hush of mountain air. But even as a child, she carried an air of melancholy, a deep sensitivity that would later shape both her brilliance and her downfall. When she was 6, her parents sent her to a convent school in England, a lonely, isolating experience that forced her to build her world through imagination. It was there that Vivian first told a friend, almost shyly, one day, "I'll be famous." Her rise was anything but easy. She studied at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art in London, determined to prove she was more than just another pretty face. Early auditions brought polite rejections, but Vivian refused to give up. She performed in small plays, gaining whispers of attention for her luminous presence. Everything changed when she met a young agent who declared, "You'll be the most beautiful woman in the world on film." He wasn't wrong. Soon after, she took the stage name Vivien Leigh, a name that would one day echo through movie history. Her first taste of fame came in the late 1930s. When she caught the eye of both audiences and critics in British films. Yet, it was her performance in the play The Mask of Virtue that drew thunderous applause, and the attention of one of the greatest actors of his generation, Laurence Olivier. The two felt an instant connection, both on and off the stage. There was just one problem: they were both married to other people. What began as artistic admiration soon turned into an intense, forbidden romance that scandalized the British press. But Vivian didn't care. She once confessed, "I couldn't help myself. I loved him the moment I saw him." When Hollywood announced plans to adapt Gone with the Wind, thousands of actresses competed for the role of Scarlett O'Hara. The world's eyes were on Vivien Leigh. She wasn't American, and she was still relatively unknown in the US. But the moment she screen-tested, everything changed. Her smoldering energy, her fierce eyes, her southern drawl, all perfectly captured Scarlett's spirit. Vivien won the role and, with it, immortality. The film became a phenomenon, and her performance earned her an Academy Award for Best Actress. Overnight, she was no longer just Vivien, she was a legend. At the height of her fame, she and Olivier became Hollywood royalty. They starred together in Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, and That Hamilton Woman, embodying the golden couple of stage and screen. But their marriage, like a tragic play, began to crumble behind closed doors. Vivian's moods became unpredictable. Her laughter could turn to tears in seconds. Few understood that she was struggling with bipolar disorder, a condition rarely diagnosed or treated at the time. Instead, the industry whispered that she was difficult. As her illness deepened, she found herself torn between reality and performance. The passionate energy that made her such a mesmerizing actress also made her fragile in life. During the filming of A Streetcar Named Desire, she poured every ounce of her turmoil into Blanche DuBois, a woman unraveling under the weight of her own illusions. The role earned her a second Oscar, but it also broke her spirit. She later said, "I've played Blanche too often, and now I can't tell where she ends and I begin." Her relationship with Olivier could not survive the strain. Though they tried to hold on, the constant separations, affairs, and emotional breakdowns tore them apart. When their marriage ended, it shattered Vivien completely. She threw herself into work, desperate to find meaning again. On stage, she remained magnetic, her beauty now tinged with sadness that only deepened her allure. She once told a friend, "People think I'm fragile. But I've survived more than they'll ever know." In her later years, Vivien battled not just her mental illness but also tuberculosis, a disease that quietly consumed her strength. Yet she continued to perform, her elegance undimmed even as her health faltered. During one of her final stage appearances, the audience rose in a standing ovation, not out of pity, but admiration. She smiled through the spotlight, hiding the pain she carried within. In July 1967, Vivien Leigh passed away at just 53. The news stunned the world. Laurence Olivier, her great love and eternal shadow, rushed to her home and helped carry her ashes. It was said he whispered her name one last time, tears streaming down his face. For all their heartbreak, he later admitted, "She was the only woman I ever truly loved." Her ashes were scattered on the lake near her country home, where the water rippled softly, just as she had once dreamed of peace. And yet, Vivien never really left. Every time Gone with the Wind plays, every time Scarlett O'Hara declares she'll think about it tomorrow, Vivian's spirit flickers back to life. Her beauty, her fire, her pain, they live forever on film. Behind her private photos lies a woman who defied time, who turned her suffering into art, and who loved too deeply for this world. She wasn't just a movie star. She was a symbol of the fragile line between brilliance and heartbreak. Even now, her story reminds us that fame can shine like a diamond, but it can also cut deep. Vivien Leigh lived as if every role were her last, every love her only one. And perhaps, that's what made her unforgettable. If you were moved by Vivian's journey, don't forget to like this video, share it with others who love classic cinema, and subscribe for more untold Hollywood stories. Because behind every timeless face lies a story the world almost forgot, and we're here to bring them back to life.